Hello, I'm Warren White. I'm North American Missions Secretary for North-Central Jersey District. I'm here with Wayne Wyatt, who is the North American Missions Director for North-Central Jersey District. And we're just here today, and we're going to talk about Christians for Christ. And you're also a church planner. You know, I think we both started churches around the same year. I started maybe a couple of months shorter than you did, and God is doing explosive things at Christ Center Church, and we're just happy that the Lord is doing that. But today we're here with this Two Brother Talking podcast just to talk about Christians for Christ, which is coming up. It's the 50th year anniversary, and you know what Christians for Christ means and how our local pastors and ministers can benefit by giving towards this great effort.
Well, as we all know, Christmas for Christ is it's a national effort. It's a national offering that we receive every year, and the offering help out mainly church planners. Those of us that have started a church within the 5-year time period. We're called North American Missionaries. Some of you that's been around a long time ago know it as home missions. And so this offering has been received over the years. Since 1966, we know that we're in the 50th anniversary of it. And it focused on helping the church planner. Men and women go and answer the call. When they hear the voice of God, when they're directed by God, they go and they answer the call to plant a church wherever God leads them. And it's not easy to work a secular job, to take care of your family, to take care of the church, and everything else that we have as responsibility. And we know cost of living is very expensive now to live and to take care of your family. So whatever assistance you can get, you can receive financially to make this work. That's where Christmas for Christ comes.
Christmas for Christ is not enough to where it'll sustain a pastor to be a full-time pastor, but most pastors that are home mission pastors are bivocational.
That's correct.
So it kind of helps them out as they begin to build God's church.
It's a help. By no means it's what you depend on.
Right.
So you use it as a help, just to get things flowing for you.
Right.
I mean, you still have to dig in your pocket when you're planning a church. You're probably the only one paying tithes for a little bit. So that's a challenge. So you're paying tithes, you're paying offering. You get your little Christmas for Christ offering each month, and we appreciate that. We can't do without that.
Right. And let's just unpack it a little bit about Christmas for Christ historically in North Central Jersey District. What has the offerings been like? And
well, I know that when our district was first separated from New Jersey, Delaware to New Jersey Metro and New Jersey, Delaware, I know in our first maybe 2-3 years of separation, we had great offerings coming in. And then it went down, and we didn't see such good offerings anymore. And over the past, I would say 4 or 5 years, we started seeing some movement again in offerings getting better. And so we have seen some growth. Okay. And so we believe that this can be our best year in giving. I believe that we can double or even move 50% more than what we did last year because there's a momentum. I believe people are buying into Christmas for Christ because they know that since you and I have been leading North American missions here in North Central Jersey District, we're able to be transparent, so folks know that where the monies are going, how we're allocating the monies, who we're helping, who we're trying to help with evangelism and church planning.
Various speakers that you have brought in since your tenure of the director to kind of like shift the mindset from just regular having church to growing a church from being indigenous and just from ground level and bringing in people that are church planners so that it can give them more tools to put in their toolbox.
Good point. We've spent a lot of money. Most of our the funds that we have brought in through Christmas of Christ and other offerings in the North American Missions Division, we have invested back into the district to bring speakers in to teach us, to help us to grow as individuals and to help our churches to grow. We've gleaned a lot from all those great men of God, and even some women, as you know, have come in and really helped us quite a bit. So we have grown. I believe me as a church planter, you as a church planter, Brother McFarland as a church planter, Brother Williams as a church planter, Brother Hendrick as a church planter. We have our good friend Pastor Alvarado. I believe we have grown.
A new church.
Who's just got a new building. I believe we've grown as men, individuals, where we have moved forward pretty quickly than if we didn't have these speakers that came in and taught. So sometimes we don't see the growth immediately, and we say, well, you know, we put a lot of money into bringing speakers, but I can see it. I can see it is a wise investment. And so I see the momentum. But this year, we really want to do, and part of also Christmas for Christ, because we're not a great big district like the Texas district, Louisiana, and some of the other big districts, we want to make sure all church planters are included. You know, North American Missions churches are, you know, the 5-year-old and younger, but there are men that have gone out and planted churches years ago.
So let's speak to that. So Christmas for Christ doesn't just benefit somebody that wants to be a home mission pastor, but when we look at home missions, every pastor that actually came to, say, North-Central Jersey or New Jersey Metro District can be considered a church planter.
Without a shadow of a doubt. You know, yes, North American Missions focus on the North American Missions pastor. Right. But there are what we call pastors that have planted churches, you know, 30 years now, 25 years now, 15 years now, 10 years now. They're still church planters. Right. And so where we are as a district, North American Missions want to partner with those pastors that have planted churches even outside of the time that we are given for North American Missionary. So we want to help them. And mainly what we do with the Christmas for Christ money that comes in, it goes back into outreach, teaching, and being able to provide, you know, whether it be chairs or equipment, or, you know, help somebody with their rent in their church. Whatever it's going to do to benefit and profit the growth and the planting of churches. That's what we want to do with the funds received.
What percentage stays in the district and what percentage goes to?
As we know, 40% stays in the district, and 60% goes to our headquarters. And for years, a lot of the men of God, pastors, used to always say, well, you know, we're doing all of this giving, and most of it are going out, and less of it stay in. And how is that fair? And I know that's been questions. That's a question that most pastors have had. Sure. But here's the story. When we give that 60%, it's being allocated throughout North America. Over the past 3 years, we've allocated money to over 100 North American missionaries throughout North America. So if we're going to be kingdom-minded, then that's a good way to say I am kingdom-minded, because as I give, I know 60% is going outside, but it's going to help North American missionaries throughout North America. So I believe that, you know, helps you to understand that we're about God's kingdom, not about any individual churches or anything like that. Now, the good news also, too, is we're at a place as an organization that the monies that are being allocated, majority of the people, I would say 90% of the people that apply for Christmas for Christ allocation receive it. Now, there's different levels of how much you receive, but 90% of the people that applies for it receive it. So if 5 of us here in New Jersey that are North American missionaries, just say all 5 of us apply for it and we get it. And we're getting the minimum of just say $6,000 per year. Right. That's 6 times 5. That's $30,000 that would have come back into the district. And I'm sure that we haven't gotten to the place yet where we can give 30,000. We hope to get there one day and far more than that. But it is worth it to send it out because it will come back to us. It's like the principle of the Bible. Give and it shall be given back unto you.
So let's, as we begin to close this out, let's begin to speak to, I'm a senior pastor, and I haven't started a church. And they're kind of concerned about how is it going to benefit my local church, even though we should all be kingdom-minded. But I don't think we've ever spoke to how it benefits the local pastor, that he may not be deciding that he's going to send anybody out, but how can North American Missions and this Christians for Christ actually help them as well?
Well, everyone, if we're growing our local congregation, we must get involved with outreach, evangelism. We have to go into the community. We need to provide tracts in order to reach our communities. One of the great things that you do and I do now is what we call Every Door Direct, which is we get postcards. We create postcards from our local church, and we can send them out into the community by the U.S. Postal Mail service, and we will take them to the post office, pay the fee for it, and it will be mailed out throughout their community. So they, in turn, we want to help them with evangelism. So if it's usually the reason why we're not able to send people out is because we need to grow our church. We need to equip men and women in our church before we can send them out. So if they haven't sent anyone out, I believe it's only because the church is not ready yet. So our job as North American Missions Secretary and North American Missions Director is to get with that pastor and help him financially for promotion, to help him financially to bring someone in to teach.
You bring up a point about sometimes the biggest budget for any church, whether it's a startup church or whether it's a church that's been established, is promotion. And I know, because I've utilized it myself, that you have a person that's a part of your congregation that is very gifted and talented, apostolic, that can beat any price when it comes to any advertisement, any logos. Only thing that the person doesn't do currently is build websites. But we also have that. So that can also be a tool that any local pastor needs as far as the advertisement.
And let me say something about that. We have a sister in our church, Sister Danielle Bennett. She is phenomenal. I mean, her creative juices. I mean, to be apostolic and to be that creative is just awesome. And she's done great for our church, our congregation, for yours, and so many others. I know she's working with another pastor down in the New Jersey, Delaware district, but she's very creative. She's outstanding, and we will never beat her price. Let's get her while she's not well known, because she's going to get so busy, and jobs that we may request from her might take a while because she gets so busy. But she's been great, and one of the other things that she does is she can create great banners for your website. So even if you're not sending mailing out, even if you're not creating certain electronic gadgets or sending out postcards, she can create electronic banners, and you can put those on your website, and they're appealing. And when people go to your website, you can look at it and say, wow. They can look at it and say, wow, I like this look. And that's her creativity. So it's a great resource for promotion. So we make sure we take care of her services. We don't take her for granted. Whatever she does, she's always compensated for it.
A man is worth his hire.
That's right. So we make sure we compensate her, and we try to compensate her just as good, because we want to encourage her, and we know we could never get a better price from any place else.
Okay. As we wind down, I know that normally when you usually go to headquarters and you have your directors meeting, that you usually have to stand up and you say a number for New Jersey. Is there a number that you have right now that you would like to see North-Central Jersey come together, unified as one mind, one body for the kingdom? An offering that we're looking, a record-breaking offering for this year?
I would like to do $22,000. It's not a lot. $22,000 will keep almost $10,000 in our district. So if we can bring that in, we'll get almost $10,000 to stay in. The rest we'll send to headquarters. But as we know, the return on that is going to be significant, not to mention all the North American missionaries that we will take care of in North America. And so if we can bring in a $22,000 offering, if we can do that, that will be fantastic.
Okay. All right. We can continue to keep talking, but maybe in future podcasts we can talk about some other things, like some of the targeted cities that you have, and maybe go around and see this is where they need an apostolic presence at. But Wayne White, the director for North-Central Jersey District, we thank you for stopping by, and it's been a pleasure talking to you. And, you know, our hope is that every local pastor and every minister will give to Christians for Christ offering this year.
We want them to give, and we want to plant churches. And by your giving, we will plant churches. We have a great big vision that we want to unload and just reveal to you all. But